Hello and welcome to another episode of the Top 3 Pen series. My name is Appelboom and every Monday we post a new video about the personal top 3 pens of penfluencers. If you don't want to miss out on the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel now. And yes, I see you, 70% of you do not subscribe but still watch the video. Especially you guys, you have to subscribe. This week's episode we will see the top 3 pens of Saenz. Chris has her own YouTube channel now for 2 years, where she reviews pen settings. Her videos are very interesting and you should definitely check them out after this video. Grab some popcorn and listen to the stories of Chris, her personal top 3 pens.
Hi everybody, I'm Chris. And I am so honored that the folks at Appelboom invited me to be part of this series. I've actually had a great time watching the other videos over the course of several weeks. So just real excited to be here. So for my pens, my top 3 pens, I've picked the most sentimental ones. Now it was a little difficult. There were a couple others that qualified too, but these are the ones that made it. So the first pen is actually a vintage Sheaffer pen that's a family heirloom. It belonged to my great uncle Roscoe Stoddard, and he was killed in his early 20s in an airplane crash. And he's really an important figure in my family. I actually have I have the newspaper article. It was a very, very long article where they tried to determine, what happened. He was a student pilot and the plane went down, so there was quite an investigation into that, but they really couldn't determine what had happened. And then I have his diary that was written a couple of years before the crash. So this was from 1935. So the pen actually came, I think I said it's a vacuum filler that needs to be repaired. I'm pretty sure I said that. But it came as a set. He had it with his name on both the pencil and the pen. And the family had a little general store in East Charleston, Vermont. So I can just imagine him picking out the pen, ordering it. I've seen, thanks to other YouTubers, I've seen some really neat ads from back then. And actually have the box that came in and the papers and everything. Because my family always saves all that kind of thing. And I'm no different. I save boxes too. But I wanted to show you his picture. And then I'll tell you a little more about him. Because what makes it so special, really. I have it glued in there. That's why I have to show you the whole thing. But that's a picture of him right there. And so here's the deal. Growing up, what we were told was he was engaged to marry my grandmother, our grandmother. So he was somebody we wanted to know about, and I can't figure why I didn't ask more questions, especially after my grandfather died. I wish I'd asked my grandmother more questions and learned more about the situation. But 2 years after Roscoe died, she married Aubrey, my grandfather. So, and then my dad was born a few years later and so on. But it's so intriguing when you start looking at that history. Like I look at myself in the mirror and I wonder, would I even be the same? Would I even be here, if not for such a tragedy? And it's just mind-blowing, really. And of course, all of us have read the newspaper articles and studied it and shaking our heads how it must have affected my great-grandmother and grandfather. And my grandfather, that was his brother, after all. And everybody in the community, because there was a big inquiry, of course, as to what had happened. There were 3 eyewitnesses, but he was the only one in the plane. And they heard that the engine was still running. So they, you can make a lot of presumptions, and the article tries to go the different ways that it might have been. But anyway, so the pen was handed down to me through, my grandfather, my father, and then it went to my mother and my brother, and everybody knew that in the last 4 years anyway, I've been really into fountain pens. So it ended up in my possession for now, and I'm just thrilled with it, and I hope to get it restored. So that's the first pen. And then the next pen is much newer. It is a Moonman. It's a Chinese pen, a Moonman M600S in the violet color, and it has the beautiful gold trim. This is a cartridge converter pen. Came with a fine nib, and I put a broad nib on it. But the story behind this pen is that last year when I celebrated my 2-year anniversary on YouTube, one of my dear friends and pen pals and a viewer of my channel surprised me by sending this to commemorate the occasion. And it's just, she knows I love purple, and it's just gorgeous. I had no idea. I really hadn't paid too much attention to this pen model, but I write with it all the time. It's a really nice writer, and it's beautiful. So that's the second pen. And you know, every time I look at it, I think about how it mattered to her to help me celebrate that, you know, and she wasn't the only one that helped me celebrate the 2-year anniversary, but it just really, you know, stood out. It was quite the surprise. So the third and final pen in my top 3 is a pen that I actually won in a drawing on Larry's Fountain Pen channel. He has a large YouTube channel. I have a little YouTube channel, but in fact, I don't always, you know, go into the drawings. It's only when I really want a pen that I'll put my name in for one. And so here it is. It is beautiful. It's called Custom. It's a Jim Heins pen, and it's called Custom Blue Storm. I'm distracted by the idea that I really want you to see how pretty it is, but I know that, you know, it all depends on the lighting, and I don't have the fanciest rig here, but it's just a gorgeous blue pen with silver swirls. You know, it's made here in Texas by a maker, you know, an individual pen maker. So, the excitement with this pen, the additional excitement, was that I was actually able to watch when he did the actual drawing. So I was on the video, and Larry's in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm in Corpus Christi, which is a long ways south of where Larry is. But I bet he heard me scream, because I was like, whoa, screaming and jumping up and down. I just couldn't believe it was me that had won this beautiful pen. I really don't have anything else like it in my collection. It's gorgeous. I mean, I have lots of pretty pens. But and that last one I showed you is beautiful, but there's just something so unique about this, and I would imagine that each one that Jim makes is very unique because of the way it's done. You know, it's just gorgeous. Anyway, and blue is like my second favorite color. I love purple, and then there's blue. So it's a pen that I use quite a bit. Sometimes I'll take out the nib unit and I'll put in, because that's a fine nib. So I have a stub nib unit that fits into it, and I'll put that in a lot of times because I'm really into broad nibs and stub nibs right now. So there are my top 3 pens, and this was really fun to do, but it's even more fun to watch the other people. So I'm really happy to be able to participate in this myself, and thank you, Appelboom, for such a neat idea to begin with, and then for inviting me. I really appreciate it. Bye for now.